Boy, you don't realize it. That the world is climb it up your duty, so you should make them understand. Cause you will hear us as an example.
Yeah, here's the thing easier to get. They don't sell out. But if you try to get a like North Carolina Islands or something, it ain't gonna not for no, not for example, right? Not for replay. I know it's making the same time as me. He said, long time. Urban necessity set up now. Like floor. Set up that in LA. Told me about that. The greatest in New York. There's ice cream shop in there, tattoo place in there. It's like a mall. You can do other things like get tattoos and get ice cream and shit.
Why you gotta make a story?
I mean, it's not far, but it's not in LA. It's not in the city.
Using the Bible as your weapon. Get the people in your head. Sitting waiting for a miracle. While your miracle happens every day. Every day. Whatever you can get. Gotta stop it right now. I know you would like it, but there is so much to be. Don't let anybody come down. No one catch you in the steal. Cause you will hear as an example. So you got to set things right. An international role model. Keep us at the future bright. Using the Bible as your weapon. You got the people in your hand. Tell them there ain't no more milk and honey. Or no golden river bed. No, no, no. Preacher man. False preacher. False preacher. Talking to you. False preacher. Oh no.
Huh? I wouldn't even tell you his stomach. He's right on top of you. Like.
You're making me part of the story.
Here, bro. Like, shit, you won't even say it. He playing with you the whole way. Like, you was right in the frame, you know?
I thought you was my boy. I kept trying to move it out of the way.
Just like the rising morning sun, on a lovely day, my thought was just begun. Never fade away. There's no space for anything. Only me and you, and the joy might overrun things. It will be true.
I make an example of you.
Let's start a brand new world. All the lovely days. Hope it never fade away. Like the rising morning sun. On a lovely day. I thought it was just begun. Never fade away. There's no space for anything. Only me and the joy my full of things. Know it will be true. All the lovely days. I hope it never fades away.
Okay. Chris Ferbert and the union officials have just come back from a meeting with a lawyer, and they're walked back into the BIU headquarters.
It's officially tomorrow.
Oh, it's brand new.
Phone call came first, right? Tell them you don't have to call.
Listen to me, baby. Listen to me, my sweet. These things are no saying. Honestly, I've got things straight. There's this little thing that constantly comes on. I don't feel it for nobody else. Only you alone. Baby.
Yankees baseball. LA is LA. Dodgers, you're a Dodger fan, you're a Lakers fan, and you're a Raider fan. I'm going to say Raiders. You can't say LA or Oakland. Dodgers fan, you're a Lakers fan, you gotta be a Raiders fan too. You can't be all Lakers fans.
No, no, no more pain. No, no, no more pain. No, no, no more. No, no, no more. No, no, no. I don't know just how long this will last, but all I know, this feels like forever. It's only a few who like so nice, pretending not to see that you're real. No more pain, no more sorrow, no more love. You have found help and your joy to my soul. My night's so long ago. I'll wait for you down the road, forever, my friend. You deserve standing on the shore. Just one moment, so sweet. And when the weather's bad, remember what we have. I'm here around, and forever I will keep. No more pain in my heart, no more sorrow in my life, no more running up and down. If you have found help and your joy to my soul, my nights are no longer cold. I'll wait for you down the road, forever, my friend. Baby, 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 say you love me. On the stars, I will remember in the sky. I'll be waiting for the good loving to get me back. No, no, no more pain in my heart, no more sorrow in my life, no more running up and down. If you have found help and your joy to my soul, my nights are no longer cold. I'll wait for you down the road, forever, my friend. I don't know just how long this will last, but all I know is that forever. It's only a fool who dies sometimes, pretending not to see that you're alive. No more pain in my heart, no more sorrow in my life, no more running up and down. I've found help and your joy to my soul. My nights are no longer cold. I'll wait for you down the road, forever, my baby. Yeah, I'll wait for you every day. If it takes me a lifetime, forever you I just wait for you. Yes. One 100% I need your love tonight. Would I be some more? I ain't gonna stop until you finally say the right. No fooling like her. 100% give me all that together. Would I be some more? I ain't gonna stop until you finally say the right. I can see that you love me, and that you really want to leave me. You're leaving me on the fire. When I'm ready, it's the time you retire. Girl, you're so bad, can't come nowhere. This feeling's getting so right. Baby girl, remember when you get back to I ain't gonna stop until we finally set things right. And I know going back there. Just son is on the right one again.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Brother Arnold here. Brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters. Today is a day. Today is a day for all of us to take part in history. I said that already, yes? All right, so I want to take part in history. I know the rest of you want to take part in history, yes? 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 All right. No. My brother there, can you hear me? My brother is over there in the corner by the old BIU building. Can you hear me? Ray upset, can you hear me? Marcus, can your brothers over there hear me over there? Brothers in Christ, please come over, please. Any other brothers over there, please come over. Come over, come over. Thank you. Come over. Anybody from down that side, come up, please. Thank you. Brothers and sisters, we're calling on our great friend, good friend of ours, good friend of labor, Reverend Creed, to open us up in prayer. Yeah? Can we get an officer to block the street off, please, so people don't drive through here? Thank you.
Brothers and sisters, let us pause, bow our heads for a moment. Gracious God, we pause to give you thanks for the gift of another day. And even as we gather in this moment of challenge and adversity, we pray, oh God, that you'll continue to bless and strengthen the labor movement. Bless us, oh God, with a conviction and a commitment to remain in solidarity, to be united. But we pray, oh God, that you will allow the winds to blow and break down the walls of incalcitrance and division. Open up minds, oh God, that are tearing our family apart. Let us be moved to a space where we can overcome politics of division, where we're unable to talk to our brothers and sisters. And let us be moved to a space, oh God, where we can sit down and be committed to work things out for the betterment of our community and all of the people that we serve. Let us move beyond the politics of blame. Let us move beyond finger pointing and trying to resolve issues in someone else's media. And let us be committed, or so committed to one another, that we will refuse to be divided. That whatever the issue is, oh God, we'll be more committed to each other. And we'll be determined and committed to work through our differences. Now, oh God, we pray that you continue to bless this organization. Bless this union that has been on the vanguard of every struggle that your people have endured on this island. Continue to provide us with the vision, the courage, but most of all, oh God, endow us with the love that we will love our people so much that we will never succumb to injustice. Bless, guide, keep, and sustain us. And we pray, oh God, that whatever we do will be pleasing and acceptable in your sight. And all of God's people said, amen.
Thank you, Brother Rev. Let's put your hands together for Brother Reverend Creed, please. Can't hear you, Brother Reverend Creed, please. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Now, we need to have more people here. Get on your phones and call them now. This square should be full. Yes. This square should be full, yes? Yes. We need to have the rest of you here. Call your family members. Call the children who is all on summer vacation. Call them here. They need to be here so we can stand together, stand united, and stand as one. Yes. At this time, I want to call on our president and put your hands together for Brother Chris Corbett. Thank you. Now, by raising of our right hand, we want to go with the union motto. Yes. And the union motto is? United we stand, divided we fall. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Arnold. First of all, let me give thanks to God Almighty. Yes. Arnold. I know I'm not my. One, two. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Mic check 1, mic check 2, mic check 3. Mic check 1, mic check 2, mic check 3. What? Why all of a sudden? Rip, but I heard you rip. Okay. So no, listen up. I understand that it's being carried live on Hot 102, and some of that's it's being pulled away. So can you hear a bit better now? Yeah. Okay. Certainly, but again, let me say, giving thanks to God Almighty. I first would like to begin today by apologizing because when a mistake is made, we should apologize. So I want to begin today by apologizing to the late Walter Brown's family. And the reason why I apologize to his family at the press conference on Friday, when I talked about we had sent a letter to the deputy premier, we said it was Walter Brown instead of Walter Ruben. So I sincerely want to apologize to Walter Brown's family and also apologize to the deputy premier for the error. The BIU, as an organization, in October of this year, would have 75 years of representing organized labor and by extension, the people of Bermuda. So let me just begin with a quote. With all their faults, trade unions have done more for humanity than any other organization of man that has ever existed. They have done more. They have done more for decency, for honesty, for education, for the betterment of the race, for the development of the character in man than any other organization of man. This is from a lawyer, a U.S. lawyer in the United States of America. So in a minute, you're going to hear some words from a different lawyer who was yesterday in court, and we'll get to that in a minute. Court on a Sunday. Okay, so the PLP and the BIU forefathers must be turned over in their graves due to the impasse between the PLP government, which was created out of labor.
Yes, right.
How did we get here today?
Talk about it.
How did we get here today? And brothers and sisters, this is real. If you think this is all make-believe, this is an organized attack on labor.
Yes, right.
It is an organized attack on labor. When you hear the words, and these words were given to the premier, and the letter that was given to him on the 19th of August, 2019, with the current decertification process in Section 57, cancellation, it is truly a dark day for industrial relations in Bermuda.
Yes.
So when we think about that in its context, and we go back to how we got here today, it's about accountability.
Yes.
If you want to hold the BIU president accountable, that's fine. But you can't just hold the BIU president accountable and hold the BIU accountable without holding everybody else accountable. It needs to be held accountable. So how did we get here today? Just a little snapshot. On December 10th, 2020, there was an urgent press conference between the BPSU and the BIU. Why? Because the Minister of Labor was taking a bill to the House of Assembly on Friday, December the 11th, without getting back to the BIU and the BPSU as he promised before the bill went to the House. So we're going to figure out why all of a sudden it appears like everybody's forgot about that issue, and now everything is front and center for today? Just think for a minute, brothers and sisters. Let's just go back to 6 years ago, roughly about 6 years ago, probably March or February of 2015, when we got the infamous letter from the Honorable Bob Richards, who threatened to take the workers, government workers' pay because if he didn't get his extension on 30 days. That was real. So it's kind of interesting now that we find ourselves in this space where the BIU and the BPSU have a joint press conference on December the 10th. This bill is going to the House tomorrow. It's not going to the union support because the minister has failed to get back to the unions on this matter. And he promised to get back to us before the bill went to the House. If this was the UBP government back in the day, if this was the OBA government back in the day, we'd be protesting in the streets. So why? This unblind loyalty to the PLP, we can't hold them accountable? I don't think so. Think about this for a moment. The Minister of Labor, a former trade unionist, agreed to get back to the BPSU and the BIU and failed to get back to us. Thanks for the correction. A trade union president. And think about it. 11, because there's 12 ministers, cabinet ministers. So the other 11 cabinet ministers now, along with the majority of the backbench, along with the PLP party, is now just saying, well, just forget about that. That didn't happen. It did? Really? So it's almost like, okay, we started at the beginning, but we're going to discount that and just start in the middle and go to the end. If you was running a marathon race, and you decided this was a 13-mile race, but you're going to start at mile 6, and then finish at mile 13, and they're going to say, well, wait a minute, did you start at the start line? No. I just decided that I'll enter the race in the middle. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And no matter how you slice it, the minister and the government's got to be held accountable for what was done on December 11, 2020. So we got a letter from the minister, the deputy premier on Friday, who says to us, so many papers. Really?
Take your time. Take your time.
They serve me, and they serve me as your leader. That's all good. This is the second paragraph on the letter that was sent on the 27th of August, 2021. It is the government of Bermuda's position that this issue is not a labor dispute, and any action taken by the Bermuda Industrial Union is unlawful pursuant to Section 87 of the Act. Unlawful. The new Consolidation Act of 2021. It's unlawful. So, back step for 2016. Paraphrasing status. Warren the Hill protested. Was that a labor dispute? No.
That's right.
That's March of 2016.
That's right.
December 2nd, 2016. What happened? Airport.
That's right.
Redevelopment deal. Seniors and others. Pepper spray. Was that a labor dispute? No. But we were protesting.
That's right.
So are we to assume now that because something's not a labor dispute, we're not going to be able to protest?
Come on now, you're talking.
Where does that leave me or leave us with our constitutional right?
That's right.
Under Section 10, freedom of association and to assemble.
That's right.
What does that leave us? So that's telling us now that whilst the opposition back then, the PLP, was protesting with us on paraphrasing status, was protesting with us on airport deal,
That's right.
now all of a sudden, what we're doing is not going to be lawful. Well, that sounds like a little dictatorship to me. I know how it seems to you, but it sounds like a little dictatorship to me. Um, it's very interesting to just try to piece this all together in the respect that the union, after having meetings with our members, decided to put forward a 2-day protest on today and tomorrow. And they see fit to tell us now that if you do that, you're going to be breaking the law. So here's what happens. On Saturday, I am served with papers from the court. On Saturday afternoon at about 1 o'clock. And they expect for us to be in court or a response to an affidavit that was made by this particular employer. They expect to get a response by 4 o'clock that day. No, they were planning Friday night or Saturday morning, and they gave us something at 1 o'clock, and you got to respond by 4 o'clock. I read it. Reached out to the legal rep, and we had a conversation, legal representation. But that dark day that I spoke about earlier, it's about to get dark.
Yeah.
Here's why. At 11:15 yesterday morning, we had to appear, meaning the BIU president, appeared before the judge. Because an employer was seeking to get an injunction against one of our divisions to stop them from supporting us today. And if you think this is not an attack on organized labor, stop and think about it. On a Sunday. On a Sunday. I'm not making this up, The document's right there in front of me. And the court made a ruling. That those workers cannot be with us today. So they gave that employer an injunction. But remember I mentioned the part about the lawyer? I remember the quote from Clarence Dow, and I tell you that there's a lawyer also involved there in this process. I know some of you don't hardly watch the evening news. So unless it's on social media, you probably don't see it. But on the 26th, 24th, on the 24th of August, there was a lawyer on the evening news. Most important to get this right. On Tuesday, August 24th, on the ZBM Nightly News, Mark Deal from the law firm of Marsh, Deal and Meyer Liberty explained, reporting for a general strike could potentially have some big ramifications for the BIU because the notice of a strike is unlawful and civil action could be taken against the BIU. He said, I am not saying that this is going to happen, but there are businesses that might feel because of the pandemic, they might decide to take legal action. Now, everyone in the world is that. Everyone on news, that was on BBC Nightly News. And I played it again yesterday because I want to make sure that if I'm saying something that Mr. Deal said, I want to make sure I get it right. So Mr. Deal's making this statement on the 24th. So yesterday we were in court with an employer, and it was Steve Willing Service, and I'll tell you who it was. Steve Willing Service went to get an injunction to stop the poor blacks division of the BIU from being able to protest with us today. So the law firm that was representing Steve Willing Service yesterday was none other than Marshall Deal and Meyer. Marshall Deal and Myers Limited. And you can guess now who the lawyer was. Mark Deal. So we have Mr. Deal in the ZBM News on the 24th talking about this, what potentially might happen. And then his appearing yesterday on behalf of Steve Willing Service to the judge to get the injunction. He also agrees with the government's position that this is not a labor dispute. Now, if it's not a labor dispute, then why have we got to serve notice for any kind of action one have? Why? If we're going to go under the Constitution, Rule 10, and say based on what's going on over here, we don't like it, and the people are going to protest. And the last time I checked, police officer that killed George Floyd in America?
Yes.
And the people in America was protesting. That was something to speed up. When we had the Black Lives Matter march in the middle, what was that for? That was labor. Once again, so we can't just cherry pick what we think we're going to allow people to support. Now, because it's labor, remember now, we're talking about the BIU's got 75 years of table to represent organized labor. And if you don't believe my next thing, you can ask our former president, Brother Derek Brothers, about this one. That been after us, probably since at this time, and maybe since Dr. Gordon's time. And if you have a chance to look at the history put up from 1946, the legislation, up until 2021, take a look at the paper. Take a look at the flag. That will give you some idea as to what organized labor has had to endure. So when the government speaks about this corn bill and how it's the most proactive piece of legislation that any government has ever done, well, where's the union's involvement in that? You make it sound like it all came from the government. The recommendation concerning labor came from labor. So where's our credit? So it's just about self-preservation. So this is all the BIU's for. And I know that the deputy premier put something out on Burn News again last night, laying out what the government's done this, the government's done that, the government's done the other. Well, and I don't dispute anything that he said about what the government has done. But here's the $64,000 question. Where are you really going to do something that's really going to help and impact on what the people need? All right. When are you going to do that? So I'm thankful that you got an unemployment benefit for the people who are unemployed. Well, when are we going to be addressing the needs of the working class people in this country so they have real disposable income? Right. This is very important because if you look at the narrative that the deputy premier put out on Burn News, trying to lay out what the government has done, and we've still got many more things to do. So what's the time frame? Is it another month? It's another year? It's another 5 years before the people really can have some real disposable income so they have a much better quality of life? How much longer are they going to wait for that? How much longer? So they get upset because the BIU president speaks out about some real issues like a minimum wage is a joke. Why is it a joke? It's a joke because that don't affect the majority of people in this country. Don't. Why do that for us as opposed to doing a living wage? Then maybe the minimum wage comes out of that. But all they want to do is sit here and say, "But I done that. I created a minimum wage." Bloody-da. But the people that really need help is all those employees that's making anywhere between $120,000 and less. And it's kind of interesting because the deputy speaks about how businesses are going out of business. Some of them are reopening, some of them are not reopening. Well, you might be able to have that conversation with the general public who don't know enough, who may not be paying attention to what is really happening in Bermuda. Well, you ain't gonna put any water in the BIU's eyes. I can tell you that. Payroll tax has been an impediment since it started. Yes, sir. It came from a hospital levy to payroll tax. So there's small businesses who can't really afford to pay 8% or 10% payroll tax. Have had to pay it. Some of them, when they have to pay it, so they've got to go out of business. Whereas if you'd have gotten rid of it 10 years ago, maybe some of those businesses out there, maybe they wouldn't have closed. You don't know. Yeah. So you can't just paint this brush and say, well, businesses are closing because the economy. Businesses are closed because there's no money circulating in the economy. So think about it. If you had 33,000 people in the workforce, And you'll see able to put $5,000 more in their pockets by saying no payroll tax, bring down the cost of health insurance, and bring down the cost of living, and you gave them extra $5,000 in their pocket. That's $130 million. $130 million. How much of that is going back into the economy? Half of it? 75% of that? So think about how that lack of disposable income is now impacting Bermuda.
That's right.
You can't turn a blind eye to that. So in relationship to this whole question now about who's that for, or how did we get here today? The deputy said yesterday that the BIU changed its position. Yeah, we did. But what's so amazing is that you said the BIU changed its position. Well, give any reason why we did. Because we tell them why we changed our position. We made it clear. Because in 1998, when the act was passed, it was passed by the United Bermuda Party government, and that's also in this flyer that we put up. In 1998, there was no guaranteed agency shop. The BIU was not guaranteed 50% from a worker in a park unit who was not a BIU member. There was no guarantee in 1998. So in 2021, as of June 1st, now because the guarantee is there, the BIU is saying that if that worker in a bargaining unit contributes 100% to the union, well, we give them a right to vote. But here's the catch to that. Not a catch, but we have to look at the legislation as it relates to section 57.6, a simple majority. So we're not going to give somebody who's not a member, who's working in the bargain, a right to vote, and they leave section 56.6 that they to say that a simple majority of 51% gets the union up. No, we'll take that up to maybe 75. So the union gets the protection it needs by providing that non-union member who is paying 100% the right to vote. And we think that's fair and reasonable. And for the life of us, in having conversations with the government, and just to repeat, just for those members who may not have heard it, those members who are here, or members of the public who may not have heard it, start off by talking about the forefathers of the BIU and the PLP. So how those, the government say they support labor. You ask the labor if you can come to speak to labor. And the Premier of the country and the Minister of Labor come and speak to the BIU General Council for 3 hours. For 3 hours. And they leave that room and the position is still the exact same. And somehow or other, we're supposed to think that this is not a concentrated effort to control labor. We're prepared to change our position, and the government's position remains steadfast. So much so, the Minister of Labor has been on the news on at least a half a dozen occasions, saying that the 1998 Act and the 2021 Act, particularly as relates to this part of decertification, is the exact same. I want you to think about that for a minute. If an act was passed that was against labor in 1998, and a PLP labor government now has a chance to fix that, and you don't fix it. And then you're out there saying, well, you know, I know everybody's complaining about. That's the way it was then. This is the way it is now. What's the problem? Well, the problem is why did we have a conversation in 2015, 16, and 17 about amendments together? Unions were involved in that process. So was it a waste of everybody's time? That the government had no intentions whatsoever of changing that part of the act? But interesting, because now history is going to show that while this bill was passed in 1998 by a United Bermuda Party government, in 2021, It now belongs to the PLP because they passed it in the House of Assembly on December 11th, and it was passed in the Senate in January of 2021. Now it's a PLP bill, and it belongs to them. So you got a chance to separate yourself from the ABA, from the UVP. But you chose to align yourself with the UVP's legislation and thinking that this is a law fault. We're trying to be fair and reasonable to the country. We asked Speaker Bennis for us to go back. Donald Council instructed me to go back and write to the government and tell them we want to come back to the table for dialogue. They sent us a response back, no, not interested. But this is all the union's fault.
Yeah. Well, okay, got it.
So, brothers and sisters, I can tell you that in closing, this is not something that we look forward to, but certainly if you take the points that were raised earlier in the prayer with Reverend Tweed, and the need for us to agree to disagree, if either party can recognize that they made a mistake, where's the trust for that relationship going forward? Where is it? If I can't trust, then you're gonna go away and come back to us. When it's the next time you're gonna do the exact same thing. Man, that is very, very important. And the accountability on a PLP Labour government should be no different than not a communal party government or an EBA government. Absolutely. If that is the Minister of Labour, under those two governments, they've got to be held accountable. If that's the same for a PLP government and the Labour minister's got to be held accountable, it's got to be held accountable. And you can't just come along talking about you're going to cover things up and not even have a conversation about it. That is morally wrong. Morally wrong. So we do understand that there are maybe members out there and members of the public who might be hesitating to support the protests because of whether it's the pandemic, whether it's because you think that this is about the John President of the BIU. We made it clear. Every conversation that we have here with the executive board and the general council, then we come out and we speak. Dr. Gordon, Brother Adi, Brother Derek, myself, all the BIU presidents all operate the exact same way. There's been a target on the president of the BIU's back since we started back in 1946. The same target is there today. So whilst we do understand some of our members who might be sitting on the fence on this issue, and some members of the public who are sitting on the fence, let me just close by giving you a reminder that the BIU's got 75 years, again, as of October, representing organized labor, and by and large, the people of Bermuda. And I want to finish with the quote that I started with, because I want to resonate to those members in the workplace who think that the BIU is going to go wrong. This is an attack on organized labor. We're going to be held accountable as the corn stewards. So we do understand there might be some young people, young brothers and sisters who don't understand. Some of the older members who don't understand. But I think that when you get a quote like this that says a whole lot about organized labor, and when it's coming from someone in the public sector, you can't just turn a blind eye to it. No, if it's coming from somebody from labor, then you can say, well, this is only dealing because of labor. But this is somebody who, I guess you could Google him. You'll see you like to Google. Google his name and find out how long he is a U.S. attorney practicing law. So the clerk just says once again, with all their faults, trade unions have done more for humanity than any other organization or man that ever existed. They have done more for decency, for honesty, for education, for the betterment of the race, for the development of character in men than any other association of men. That's the BIU. We're not perfect, but we've been there for 75 years representing our members' interests and by and large people of Bermuda. Thank you. Any questions? Questions from the media?
Question.
No, we got the media here. Let's get rid of them, then we can have our conversation.
Good morning. Can you tell me what the status is of the legal dispute at the moment? You went to a meeting with your lawyers this morning. Can you tell us what the outcome of that meeting was?
Let's just be clear, because when I went this morning to speak to our legal reps, the decision was made yesterday that the let me just make sure I get it right as to who this coming from. This is an order from the Supreme Court, and it's from Chief Justice Sabir Williams. Yesterday, the 29th of August, 2021, it was issued on behalf of Stevedoring Services, who was able to retain an injunction against the Poor Works Division of the BIU, stopping them from being able to protest today. So they got their injunction. We have leave to appeal. I think we're going to go back on Friday to see whether or not we can convince the Chief Justice or convince the judge otherwise. But basically, that is what the order is from yesterday, and it's based on Section 94 of the Current Trade Union Act.
So does that just apply to marine imports, or
It applies to Stevedoring Service. No other employers can be able to piggyback off this injunction. You want an injunction? Go and get your separate injunction. That's how it works. Don't work that way. This order clearly states it is between Stevedoring Service Limited, the appellant, and number two, the Bermuda Industrial Union, number one, the Bermuda Industrial Union, number two, the Poor Works Division, as the respondents. That's who it's on behalf of. Not marine ports, not boss, nobody else. It's between those two parts. Any further questions? No further questions? Can we thank the media? You want to ask a question? You might have to come to the mic so everybody can know what the question is.
The question actually is for you, Chris. You can explain to the crowd. Good morning, everybody. My name is Bill Brooks. I work for the Corporation of Hamilton for 25 years.
Speak up, bro. We can't hear you.
Okay, my name is Bill Brooks. I work for the Corporation of Hamilton for 25 years. I've been enjoying my job in the Parks Department. My question to Brother Chris is, what will happen?
Turn the volume up. Closer.
What will happen to the members' benefits concerning everything that we worked for the last 75 years if there's no union? If you could tell the crowd,
yes.
where will we go? Where will the employers, what will they be able to do with our benefits and stuff like that? Thank you.
That's a good question, Brother Betty, and here's why. Let's just remember what happened in 2000. Prior to 2000, the unorganized had no benchmark for benefits. So if you work for an employer for 20 years, up until 1999, that employer will come to you on a Friday, today's your last day of work, and they will decide if they want to give you an extra payment of $1 or $1,000 or $10,000. They'll make that decision. If they thought that you was a real nuisance to them, they'll give you nothing. But in 2000, when the Employment Act 2000 was created, and it was created with consultation with the unions to make sure that what they was going to put up there was going to be what they call the minimum standard for the unorganized. And I honestly think that if you look at what would happen to organized labor, if you're not organized labor anymore, Employment Act becomes the standard.
Yeah, that's right.
So if it's 2 weeks vacation time, if it's 8 days sick, if there's only 26 weeks redundancy pay, all those provisions on the Employment Act are a lot less than what they are in a collective bargaining agreement. A lot less. And more important, you don't have a right to representation. So you might decide that even though your job is not organized, you'll come and pay. You can do this. That's fine. You can do that. But if we call the employer in the telephone, they'll say to us, well, Mr. Furby, we're not organized, so we're going to have to talk to you. And you'll be right. Now, if your matter ends up down in the labor department, you can take somebody to represent you, so we'll be able to go down there. But any day-to-day issues that you got in the workplace, it's on you.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So if you think that you can't just make this stuff up. If organized labor around the world in other jurisdictions like the USA and Canada and the UK over the past 30 or 40 years has gone from 20% or 25% down to 11, 10, 8 to 10%, that's real. It's kind of like stabilized right now. You just simply can't take these for granted.
Absolutely.
Any further questions? No further questions? Well, brothers and sisters, I certainly hope that those members that are here today, and even the ones that are not here, those who were able to listen while, and once again, I want to thank Mr. Glenn Blakeney for providing this live feed to Hot 102. Yeah, thank you. Nice round of applause. I can only assume that things are going to get worse before they get better. And the only thing I mean by that is that steel right services have started getting an injunction. It's most important for us to understand that if this is not a labor dispute, then am I allowed to protest under the Constitution? I think if you go read the Constitution, no, is it incitement if the BIU president or the BIU invites people to come to a protest? First of all, you use your mind to decide whether you want to come to the protest or not. Nobody's got a ball and chain on you or a rope putting you along till you come on to Union Square. You heard what was going on and you decided that the BIU, of course, called his senior members in all the 90 central areas. And then we talked about 7 or 21-day notice today as of today for all the areas that are essential services. But if the government is saying, and the employer's lawyer is saying that this is not labor dispute, then we got to give you the notice. You don't need 21-day notice for anything, no. If you want to protest it one day, you should be able to protest it one day. Long as everything is within reason, you should be able to protest. So you might decide to protest one day a week. Instead of 5 days in a row, you might say, you know what? No. We're protesting this week Tuesday, next week Wednesday, following Thursday, Friday. We're protesting. Now, just know that 87, this is what the minister could, and I want to share this with you because I think it's important. 87 clearly states what's that? Oh, I'm sorry, running right. Section 87 of the Act. It speaks about Okay, listen up. 3, section 87.3 of the Corn Act. A lockout strike or a regular shall shoulder strike not to be deemed a design to calculate or coerce the government. So, if this is not a strike, and this is a protest under Section 10 of the Constitution, does this mean the same? Does it mean the same? So certainly, the governments of the view, based on what the deputy premier said in the letter to us, that is quoted Section 87 of the Act. Just so that you understand what's happened in Bermuda from time to time, and also what's happening all around the world. There have been the people who decide that that law that you wrote a day ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, was bad law, and people are going to protest the bad law. And ultimately, that's your right. If that law it was unjust and unfair, under the Bermuda Constitution, you have a right to protest that law and take it all the way to the Privy Council if you have to, and get it fixed. So any final questions for me, class? And just know that, and you have to make that decision as to whether you want to or don't want to. Some might be concerned that we don't have half the membership here. And I told the General Council this last week. Now I don't expect half the membership here. I expect for those people who are interested to show up. Because history teaches us, when you look at the BIU history book, Dr. Gordon got his challenges back in the old days. He did. Why? Human nature. But we always got to do what is right by the people. We always got to do what is right. And that's why when the question is asked about, are the other unions supporting you on this issue? When the BIU gave notice in 1981 for the government employees and for the hospital employees of 21 days strike days, we didn't do it with the understanding that we were going to rely on our sister unions to support us. We never done that. But if your brother or sister union is standing on a right and just cause, then it's no more than right that you support them. Right. Now, whatever you choose to support is entirely up to you. But we can't just say, well, we're going to have all our members and we should stand down. Yes, sir. That's not how Dr. Gordon handled issues of the union back in the 40s and the 50s. And respectfully, brothers and sisters, that's not how we should handle it today. We shouldn't. I am doing what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And in this case, the Bermuda government is completely wrong in their position. And I wanna clarify, because I think that I should. How did we get it? How did we get here today? It was because of the minister, the Honorable Jason Haven. That's how we got here today. And I haven't called his name up to now, but I got to call his name because it's because of him as to why we're here today. Right. Yeah. Why? Because on December the 9th or December the 8th, he'd have got back to the unions and tell the minister, you can take that bill to the house. Why not support it? And then we wouldn't need to come to his office at 12:30 and 11 to have a meeting with him. So we can try to, once again, cover up his mistake. Right. Cover up his mistake. Because that's what it was. A cover up. No, we'll cover up this mistake for him. Why for? I'll take. I'm not the BPS can take that shit, but we'll take ours. It was our fault for having the meeting with the minister and agreed to what I agreed 27. I got that. Well, where's the accountability too? Where's here? Where? Because today, and those of you who listen to What's your boy, Flavor? The minister came on Flavor's talk show about a week ago to try to clarify some issues. And right after he hung up, this lady called in and says, I want the minister to answer one question for me. Did he promise the years that he was going to get back to him before he took the bill to the House of Assembly? Silence.
Yep.
No response back to it. Why? Guilty as charged.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Now, it's hot. Well, you're going to make the decision. What's that? I got mine on to the rear. Brothers and sisters, and I know we have some members in the public here, may not be a whole lot, but I certainly also, I didn't earlier, and I want to welcome them coming here to Union Square today. But certainly, there may be the support, and even though they may not be heard, no, when I say they may not be heard, let me explain what I mean. The times that I've been on Union Corner, the times I've heard people calling talk to us about this issue, the BIU's got about at least 60% support. At least 60%. It could be a little more than that. I don't think it's much less than that. So for every 10 people, 6 people are supporting us and 4 people are not. The other you on social media see all this stuff that's going on. You see all that. So you know what I'm saying is correct. So even though people are not physically hurt because, whether they come on the lunch hour or when they come after 5 o'clock, understanding the challenge right now with supporting this issue on a work day.
Hello, brother Darrell.
Brother who?
Darrell. William Darrell.
So sometimes people wonder, well, what keeps the president of the BIU here? Because I've been here for a few years. So when I got a phone call from one of our seniors, one of our seniors who was an officer of the Union, he turned 90 a couple of months ago, 90 years of age. I heard her when I came back from the meeting, he left a voice message for me. Mr. President, can you please give me a call? I support you 100%. 90 years old.
Yeah.
So, what's the person think from the government's perspective? What got to go wrong? I'm unsure that if we have to go wrong, weigh him down. I'm going to call this name, weigh him down to work for me a banquet. Right. If he had it wrong, he'd say about Chris, look, you guys got this all wrong. Verse why you got it wrong. He would have told us. So now, one now got to say, well, okay, the PLP, it's got the government, it's got 30 seats. The party is silent. Think about this for a minute. When I sent that letter to the Premier on the 19th, it was sent to him and copied him, Minister Hill, the party bit, and the chairman of the party. And we heard no response from anyone other than the Premier. And remember now, no disrespect to the World Gazette, but the government likes to talk about stuff leaking to the World Gazette. Stuff leaking to the World Gazette. Well, who leaked the BIU letter to the World Gazette? Really BIU? So you accuse your World Gazette of being this, that against labor, but now you're using the World Gazette. So it looks like the World Gazette and the PLP are aligned on this issue. Because from what I remember, I think the editor a couple of months ago or 6 weeks ago told the PLP to stand firm on its position. And that was in the newspaper. And what's the government doing? The government standing firm. And then you want me to think? You want us to think that this is not a concentrated effort against labor? Gosh, you gotta wake up. I have to wake up and pay attention. Because if you don't, I'm gonna take it little by little, and there you look, it's going.
Right.
Then you wonder what happened. Because we were sleeping at the wheel. Already have one letter for decertification already.
came in May of 2021. But it failed. Why? Because the person that wrote it was not a BIU member. We need to know they wrote the letter to the labor department trying to go. Why did you not inform labor that you had a letter from whoever it was? Mr. Ferret, Mr. Burgess, we got a letter from this individual who's asking for the union to be decertified. So they sent us the letter that they sent him telling that he didn't meet the criteria, so it's not going to be entertained. Now, that's the beginning. So think about that. That's somebody who thought it's going to be smart than the average Joe and trying to get rid of organized labor in DHL. Who's going to be next? And if you all think that this is not there's not some other underlying issue going on with somebody else who's, and I'm saying somebody else who's forcing the government, that fair and reasonable amendment that we asked for is fair and reasonable. No one can convince us different. That amendment is fair and reasonable under the circumstances, but it can't go. Why? Because they made up their mind that the BIU is not going to dictate to them the terms and conditions. Well, in negotiations isn't about give and take. So they're coming to take everything without even compromising. That's what this is. Every correspondent that they hear, the government's position remains the same. We are not going to amend the legislation. Huh? No crash. No crash. So, are we prepared to take a little stroll?
Yes.
Let's go. Hands up. Hands up. If you're prepared to take a little stroll.
We need to go see our Doc brothers. That's what we're going to go see.
All right, good. What I will ask, listen up. Listen up. If you're marching, if you didn't see the press release or the press statement, if you're marching, you got to wear your mask. Yeah. Please. That's all I'm asking. That's the only request. So I'm going to ask the general council members to assist with the marching and the march to make sure people are orderly, to make sure somebody's got the mask on. And no, I'm not sure if this works because we're in the open outdoors. No, hold on a second. Wait a minute. So instead of us being spread out over 100 yards, maybe we can spread out over 500 yards. And people can be social distance. So we can have like maybe 5 people on the road. And then 6 feet far, another 5 people. And 6 feet far, another 5 people. So we're all that far apart so we can have our masks on. So as long as we can get the general council members to maintain that, then we might, because we're in the open outdoors, we might be able to be okay. Yeah, we're good? So, all right, let me get you general council members organize all of that so we can get we're going to enter leave at 10:15. It's 10 o'clock right now. We're good. Out the gate, up the hill to the motors, down the hill, straight down to Front Street and going by the ducks. And we're going to the cabinet grounds.
Okay.
What's up? I know I have a message about dog. It's a nice shirt. I like these types of days because I ain't got to search for the front page picture.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a brief break and we'll be back when the march starts. So the march is supposed to start in about 15 minutes and we'll be back live at that point in time.